I like that fancy new logo thing at the bottom.
Now, who put that there?
No idea.
Yes. Yes. It's yeah. I like calling it an experiment.
Yeah, it's kind of what we do because we have other things shaking too, right? This isn't the only. Oh, I'm whacking the microphone. This isn't the only thing that we do.
No, it's not. Now, I have a reasoning which I've explained to you already. Why we call it experiment? I'd like to share it with everybody. What it is it's an attempt to distance a little bit of your personal activity, as it were. It's something you do, and if you call it "this is my project" and it fails, then it kind of you feel it reflects back on yourself and it affects you, and it's not
Because it
good.
was a project.
Yeah, but if you call it an experiment, then you're testing out something to see, and the outcome of an experiment is either it works or it doesn't.
And if it doesn't, if it leaves a mile wide crater in the ground where it smacks, you can just walk away and go, "Well, it was an experiment."
Yeah, that experiment didn't work. Let's try another one. So that's why I call it an experiment. And yeah, it's part of a few of the things that we've got going on, including our lovely, lovely website, FizzPod.
Yes,
Please check
FizzPod.
it out, folks.
Loving FizzPod.
Check it out, folks.
And then for those who don't know, FizzPod is a gathering of all of the event industry podcasts in one place. And you can sort them by the last 7 days, by category, by...
It's more to come. It's the beginning of something exciting, I think. But anyway, FizzPod, fizzpod.com. Go and have a look. It's really cool.
And today we're talking about storyboarding, which...
Now, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say storyboard. I thought it was a nice way of just cutting in, but anyway, never mind. So storyboarding is something I don't know an awful lot about. So in this episode, in today's video, I'm going to ask you questions just to find out more about what it is.
Yeah, and just really brief, because we're going to actually talk about a tool that allows you to create storyboards much easier than doing them any other way, and I'll get there in a second. Yeah. But in a nutshell,
we're having video problems.
Storyboarding started with... Am I still here?
You're still there, but it's you're having struggles a little bit. Anyway, soldier on.
So with storyboarding, it started, back in the day, and it was for animation, right? You would actually draw out the scenes you were going to draw. Well, fast forward 100 years, whatever. And now storyboarding is done for all videos, movies, things like that. And if you are going to create a video at your conference and event, let's say you're going to do a promotional video for your conference or event, you're going to want to make a storyboard, right? And a storyboard is basically, it is each scene of the video and the script so that you can communicate to other team members what's going to be happening with that video, right? So you do your shots and all that stuff.
So I was going to say, so you have a visual reference plus some guide of what actually happens, so everybody works on the same page. So everybody's coordinated and have the same reference of what's going to happen in that conference or event.
Yeah, and a good storyboard, right, would allow you to actually hand it to the video team who go out and shoot it, right? They should be able to look at a storyboard and say, oh, okay, they want a close-up of the person here, and then for the next scene, they want a wide shot, right? And then the script and the dialogue is in there for the presenters or anyone who's in it. So that's what a storyboard is.
Yeah, so basically, a director of a film will use it to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. You are directing an event or a conference or meeting, and so you want everybody to know where you're at about your thinking and how you perceive it to happen.
Yes. And videos like this, you don't need a storyboard, right? It's just you and I coming together to talk. Yeah.
But if you're doing something a lot more fancy with more people involved, you're going to need a storyboard.
Yes.
Okay.
So there you go. Then I think, the steps that go into creating a storyboard, again, this isn't rocket science, right? It's you create a template, typically, and you don't want to know what we used to use back in the old days.
Oh, Oh,
In the
you
old
broke
days,
up again.
you tell me when I'm back, Bob. These are the perils of the
Yeah,
internet.
you're back. I'm just waiting for you to synchronize
Yes, the perils of the
voice and
internet.
audio.
The perils of the internet.
It's fun, isn't it? But then, just to go off topic a little bit. The fact that we are having video problems, but we're soldiering on and we're just going with it, is something that you're going to have to do if you are doing any sort of live video work at any event or conference. This kind of stuff's going to happen, so you just got to go with it and soldier on.
It's live. Got to do what you do.
Yeah, yeah,
So as I was saying, back in the old
yes,
days, which was up until last week, um, we actually use index cards, right? Because they're the right shape, 16:9, which is a video. You could do a little sketch on there of a close up and then the dialogue, and then you could lay them out on a table. And
yeah.
then if you wanted to rearrange things, you could just move them around.
So in our sixth episode of this, we talked about Evernote and getting rid of the event binder. So going digital with your storyboarding goes with that. In fact, you could use something like Evernote to
You could.
embed a PDF document of your storyboard, or use a table within Evernote to step things through. So it all kind of comes together.
Yeah, you could also use so there are a lot of tools that can be used that you already have in your everyday life, right? Evernote
Yeah,
is a prime example. Evernote works really, really well for this. But for other folks, you can use PowerPoint. Each PowerPoint can be one frame or one box of the storyboard. You can use
yeah.
Google Slides. You can use Excel if you wanted. I don't know if it would work really well, but you
Bit of a
could.
push, but that's if what everybody else seems to be using and it fits in, you could. But today we want to talk about a particular tool that's going to make this a lot easier to do.
Yes. And the tool we're going to talk about today is Plot. It's called. Get it? Plot. Like
Yeah,
the
I
plot
do.
of a
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. Carry
But
on.
it
Carry on.
but in a very simple way, it allows you to create your timeline, identify your scenes, add your script and dialogue, draw out the story using they actually already have um drawings in there. Like normally, I am not an artist. I will do stick figures when I'm doing the index cards, but they already have graphics you can use. Like that's a person, right? Someone sitting at a desk.
So,
Uh,
so they've basically got a bit of a gallery going on. You could just click and drag things into place.
exactly.
Makes life a bit
But
easier.
where it comes in handy is you can download when you're finished, you can download as a PDF, right? So you've got a PDF that you can hand out to everybody on the day of the shoot. Um,
Yeah.
or you can actually collaborate with other people. So you can long before you ever get there, you can actually share it with your video shooting team you actually have a team. And they can look at it, they can review it in the meetings leading up to the shoot, and they'll know what lenses to bring, what cameras, what lighting they might need, all of those things.
Ooh, yeah, because if you've got a speaker on stage at a conference and you want a video, but you don't want to do the because most people will set up a camera and focus on the stage. That person wanders around a little bit. Yeah, it's nice. But you can actually have cameras set to left and right so you can come in at different angles to see that person. So if you've got a storyboard written out so the speaker has some idea of what's going on, the video team's going to know what's going on, you can create something a little bit more interesting.
You could.
So it's a great way of coordinating everybody together to come up with something a little bit better than you would normally do.
Yeah. Now let's say you're going to create a video to introduce this year's conference, right? What you can do is, you can say, okay, on this scene, we're going to have somebody walking across the bridge talking about, the footbridge, talking about last year's conference. Then we're going to go to a close up of somebody with the new city skyline in the background, right? You can get the vibe of what it's supposed to be. That way, the people who are shooting the video know how to create the vibe. It's one thing to say, oh,
Yeah.
we want it to be moody. Well, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah, you can be vague. If you just said, "Okay, we're gonna do a video shoot. Don't forget to make it moody. Don't forget to get some interesting stuff in," and then you go away. If the more detailed you are and the more explanatory you are, the better the results at the end, anyway.
Yes, and I'll tell you, as someone who shoots from the hip a lot, right? I will generally, like when I speak at a lot of events, I just need a rough outline of what I'm going to be talking about. Um, you know, this does add a little bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? You have a plan.
It comes across as a little bit more professional because the shots are going to match up as opposed to choosing a bunch of random ones because they seem to fit.
Yes.
You can plan it, looks a bit more slick, a bit more professional, a bit more upmarket, which will reflect back on the client you're doing it for, or
Your organization.
yeah, just much cooler.
Yeah. So that's basically storyboarding in a nutshell, right? It is super, super, it's not a difficult thing to do, especially with the types, starting out, right? If you've never used a storyboard before, if you've never done storyboarding, right? Your first one doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be done because you've never created one. Over
Yeah,
time, as you learn, how to make them more effective, they'll get better and better and better, right? Your first storyboard might only have six frames in it, right?
yeah,
However, when you finally get down to, a year from now, your storyboard might have 25 frames where you're doing scenes and cuts. Um, you know, so yeah, here's
yeah. It
my
sounds cool. So that's the plot.io. We'll put a link into the YouTube description to make sure people can find it. I take it there's different pricing levels for this.
Wow. I actually never even looked.
Oh, sorry to surprise you with that.
Uh, I don't even know what it costs. Wait, but I'm looking.
Look, yes. Keep talking while you frantically search around.
Like everybody can hear me to see. Now, if we had storyboarded this out, Bob, I would have had that ready.
See, this is what can happen if you don't storyboard things.
Okay. So they do have um they do have a free version. But if you're a solo person, it's $9 a month. Or I'm sorry, $9.99 a month. If you have a team with 5 collaborators, you are $14.99 a month. And then if you have one unlimited collaborators, it's $20 a month. So basically, to start off, most people are in that $14.99 a month range.
Yeah.
They do
Okay.
have a free tier, right? So try it out. It's not
Well,
gonna.
yeah, it's worth giving it a go. And if the client likes the results of it, then it is a service worth paying for. So
Yes, and
give it a
when we
go.
say client, by the way, we're also referring to internal clients as well.
Yeah.
If you're
So
in marketing and the VP of marketing, that could be your client.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, sounds cool.
It is. Well, we've eaten up 15 perfectly good minutes.
Good. So that's a wrap on that one then. To use a good term, I'm so good at this.
And we knew it going in, right? Because there is not a lot to storyboarding. It is what it is, but so many
Yeah.
people don't do it, and it can be so effective, right? It can truly change the way your videos come out. I watch so many organizations that when they're going to shoot a video about next year's conference and they're currently at this year's conference, they'll literally say, well, let's just get Bob speaking about it, and let's get Keith talking about how great this destination is, where they actually don't give it any plot.
Yeah.
I
Basically.
mean, you want some action, you want things to be happening. One great thing is if you're doing a site inspection to the new city, which you're going to do before your current conference goes off, have someone record their piece while they're there. That way, you can.
Yeah, this sounds cool. Actually, this is going to be really useful because in a couple of weeks' time, I'm off to a venue. This is for an upcoming feature for the bullet list. I'm going off to a video shoot at a venue and perhaps do an interview with somebody there. So I have a map of the space where the rooms are, where the restaurant is, where the cafe, the seating, all tables, and all that sort of thing. Now, I could just turn up and go, right, let's sit at the table and have a chat. Oh, yeah, let's go look at that room. Oh, yeah, must go do that. I can now actually plot out and have some kind of plan of what I'm going to do while I'm there So I'm not wasting people's time. There's a bit of structure to it. And when I glue it all together, it's actually going to look like it was meant to be, as opposed to a
Yes.
bunch of random stuff that I filled in.
And you
So,
just nailed it, right? I mean, that is exactly what storyboarding does,
yeah,
right? Okay, we're going to open up on the front of the venue, right? And that's where I'm going to introduce the venue. And so even if you're just yourself doing it, you can say, you can do your own storyboards. Then we're going to introduce the meeting rooms, right?
yeah,
What are some of the amenities? You can do
yeah.
that way. The shots you need to capture in order to make a perfect video.
Okay, cool. So that is a wrap now then.
Now we're a wrap.
Now we're wrapped up. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so links will be in the YouTube description. So go head over to our YouTube channel, The Bullet List Show. You should be able to find it.
Yeah, that's
That's fine.
YouTube is the
And
world's second largest search engine.
it is, and one of the greatest educational resources I've come across. So it's really cool.
And someday we'll actually get these on the website, so that it can be at bullet-list.com.
See, you always have to come in with that. It's brilliant. It's like, it's my job. I'll do that really well.
That is my job.
That is your call. That's brilliant. Okay, and if you want updates of when we will be live next, then, which is obvious, it's going to be tomorrow and roughly the same time. But if you want to be reminded, then go onto Facebook, where you will find us on Event Planner News, Plannerwire, and the Bullet List group. So please come and join in the group, leave comments, come and talk to us, and we'll talk to you back.
We're lonely.
Yeah.
You could join the group and be part of our team, our crowd.
Yes, come and join in. Come
Our
and make
tribe.
some noise. Yes. We have a tribe. Barbie, we're tribal leaders.
Ooh. I want to lead nothing.
I don't want to talk to anybody. Okay.
All right. On that note, see you tomorrow.
Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.